on giving. Same drama, same intensity, same stories, all told in one WhatsApp app. Teammates turn rivals. One team, two sides. Only one gets to lead the way. And when the odds are stacked against you, qualifying's always been a place where you prove that you belong.
He's taken pole!
Only he can do it. A magical moment for everyone here.
Yes, let's go!
Only 4 drivers have taken pole position this year. It's a pretty exclusive club, all squeezing every last tenth out of the car.
Leclerc, Norris is on pole in Monaco!
To stand a chance on a Sunday, you must stand tall on a Saturday.
It's George Russell, Mr. Saturday, on pole position!
There's still 10 rounds to come after the summer break. But there's still one more story to tell. Welcome to qualifying.
So often the scene is set for a Grand Prix by a single lap the day before. The compelling quirks of qualifying have kept us all on the edge of our seats. And not long now till we determine the grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix. A very warm welcome to the Paddock Club as we're perched just above the pit lane. Welcome to our friends on Main Event who've just enjoyed the rugby and witnessed the Lions seizing that series win over Australia. Great to have Martin Brundle and Jamie Chadwick alongside me. And this is just a great track, isn't it? A very difficult one to nail. So what is the key to getting that perfect single lap round here?
A lot of corners are quite similar, medium speed, traction's important. Obviously these are 2-wheel drive cars, 1,000 horsepower going to the rear tyres, so keeping the rear tyres intact. We call it a rear limited racetrack, and it's just relentless. The corners just keep coming at you thick and fast, and therefore if you get out of sync with them, you're in trouble.
And nothing to choose at the moment between the McLaren drivers. 1-2 in all 3 practice sessions this weekend. Come on, what's your hunch?
Honestly, I can't call it because they keep pushing each other that much harder each session. They're making little mistakes. I think the driver that's on top is the driver that has the cleanest lap with no mistakes. I think it's going to be very easy for one of them to just overdo it a little bit, going after the speed that much, because at the moment between the 2 of them, they're far superior at the moment than anyone else on the grid, and it's between the 2 of them quite clearly. So I think it's hard to call at the moment, but I'm going to say Oscar.
Now, I want you to clear something up for me, Martin. Did you coin the phrase, "This is Monaco without the walls"?
I said it's Monaco without houses.
Oh.
Back in 1986, the first race we did here, because
So
there were
it was
walls.
you, and it's
There
been
were
adapted.
walls. Oh, I don't know. It's such a, I can't remember what I said last week sometimes. So, yeah, but that's how it certainly struck me back in '86 when we first came here, because the barriers were quite a bit closer to the track then as well, and also we had another little Mickey Mouse chicane over in turn 3 because they found a river. Subterranean river when they were building the track. They had to go around, and so it was really slow track in the beginning.
I think you should trademark it. Bearing that in mind, so does that mean Lando will be favourite given that he put it on pole in Monaco?
I think this track does seem to suit Lando. It's a track that seems to suit some drivers more than others. It's hard to pinpoint exactly why that is, but it seems to suit drivers that use the front to slow the car a little bit more. It's high speed, but not super high speed. And I think this track, especially if you look at Lando's sort of consecutive record here, it seems to suit him more than others, and that I think gives him good odds. That said, we've seen Oscar step up everywhere this year. Everywhere he's been, he seems to have stepped up this year. Got his maiden win here last year, so he's coming off the back of confidence from this track especially, and I think it's going to be hard for him to push Oscar out this time.
But you can never count Max Verstappen out the reckoning either. It has been a tough weekend for him so far, but if you look at the stats, they've all had 4 poles each. It's quite hard to believe, isn't it?
I think what would be harder to believe is Max on pole today, to be honest, because the car's really struggling. He lost the tyres towards the end of the lap, but this is McLaren. If it's a completely dry race, they're going to run and hide here. Their car, this is almost tailor-made for their car. Really strong back end of the car, back end grip in those medium speed corners, so they should dominate. But should is the key word there. And it then looks as if Ferrari are next best. And Max, we know Max will pull something out of the bag, but he's got an awful lot to find. And it didn't look like the normal, I've got no grip and on a Friday and then suddenly turning up as a contender on a Saturday. Let's see what he does, but I think Max will be happy if he's in the top 6.
Oh wow, okay, well that is cool, because yeah, he said earlier, nothing seems to work. Okay, let's remind you how things are shaping up in the tables. 6 Grand Prix wins so far in 2025 and a 31-point race scoring streak mean that Oscar Piastri has a 16-point advantage over Lando Norris. It's looking like a two-way fight now, with Max Verstappen 81 behind the leader. Russell is in 4th on 157, with a Ferrari duo in 5th and 6th. Hulkenberg has fought hard and smart, up to 9th on 37, and Esteban Ocon has squeezed his house inside the top 10 too. Bottom half, standout rookie Isaac Hadjar is on 22 in 11th. Gasly and Stroll on 20 points each. Lawson, Alonso and Sainz also tied. They're on 16 in 14th, 15th and 16th. Behrman and Bortoletto on 8 and 6 points respectively, with Colapinto the only current driver yet to score. And in the constructors, well, McLaren are disappearing off into the distance on a massive 516 points. That's over double the tally of Ferrari in 2nd. Mercedes remain in 3rd. Red Bull are still in 4th, but now on 192. And Williams, with a bit of space either side of them, in 5th on 70. And then 23 points separate the remaining 5 teams. Okay, let's hear now from the 2 at the top, Oscar and Lando.
I'm just trying to win each race and extend the lead. But I think clearly Lando and I are in the same car, which is the best, and he's naturally going to be the closest competition.
The team have done an amazing job to give us such a quick car, but it's tough. I have a good teammate, and he's very strong. So I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm concentrating. I'm working hard on my things, my own work, and of course I'm trying to get the most points possible in every race. So. At this stage, every point is important, every race is important, so it doesn't matter if it's this one or the next one. I need to maximize every single one.
I think just trying to put together a solid, consistent year is ultimately going to be an important thing, but I think the pace in the last few weekends, I think especially Spa, I've been very confident in and very proud of, and I think I'm more than capable of continuing that for the rest of the year. So, I'm confident that I can do it, but it's not going to be easy.
Oscar's ahead at the minute because he's been doing a better job. That's not because of luck, that's just because he's been driving better. But of course, I'm doing the best I can to try to recover that and get back. I feel like I'm in a good rhythm. I feel like I have things under control, and I'm in a good form. So I'll continue that, and hopefully it comes back my way.
And Martin, it is so important to continue that decent form into the summer break. Everybody wants to leave here with a spring in their step, don't they?
They do. All the races count for the same World Championship points. And of course, they want a good grid slot here. It's so important, like it is anywhere these days in Formula One. But you're right. It's not as critical as going into the winter with some great results. But I think it does set them up, and they can relax and enjoy a couple of weeks off. And the teams, of course, it's mandatory for them to close down during that break, so people do get a breather. But they'll be itching, and if you have a first corner shunt and then head off into the summer break, it just plays on your mind the whole time.
You're not going to enjoy your pina coladas then, are you? Do you believe in momentum, Jamie?
Absolutely. I think if you look at any championship, it always ends up being a driver with confidence, a driver that gets results consecutively, ends up being able to carry that forwards. And I don't think it's any surprise when you see the same kind of characters always in there, in amongst it, because it is difficult. If you lose momentum and you kind of have these ebbs and flows throughout a season, it's really difficult to build it. That said, I think Formula One, there's so many races now, there's a lot of opportunities to gain momentum, and I think, as Martin said, going into the summer break, you always want to have a good race before a big time sat at home thinking about it.
Well, let's see which rookies have got the momentum, because over a third of the grid are rookies in 2025. Here's Rachel to assess how they've each fared so far.
Okay, so we're going to head straight to qualifying. I just wanted to play the first 10 or so minutes of that. Okie dokie. We're going to head straight to qualifying here for Hungarian Grand Prix. That's of course when I can find the intro. And come on. There we go. Okay, so we're going to head straight to qualifying. Now, we're not going to worry about all the rookies and all that sort of stuff, but we're going to head straight to qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
But there's still one more story to tell. Welcome to qualifying.
The FIA Formula One World Championship of 2025 heads to the Hungaroring this weekend, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Here, and the battle for pole position is not too far away. It is less than 3-4 minutes away till the green light goes green at the end of the pit lane. There are 3 sectors split up at this track, and there's 4.381 kilometres for these drivers to battle pole for. 70 laps coming Sunday. 113.447 is the lap record from Lewis Hamilton. 34.6 metres in elevation around here. 325.9 kilometres an hour top speed. And let's just say there are 14 corners to battle. We're going to be using the C5 compound of tyre. It is the soft tyre, the medium tyre, which is the C4, and the C3, which is the longest lasting tyre here this weekend. It is the hard compound tyre. Well, it is nearly time for qualifying, and the fans have been rushing in since 7 a.m. this morning. Let's go back now to 2024. The extensive work that has gone on here at the Hungaroring through 2025 and 2024. We have our commentary team to explain more about it.
As it's often fought for in very hot conditions, but where hot heat and humidity arrive, Martin Brundle, often the rain does too. And I don't know about you, but somewhere over Bill's mother's, it looks like it's getting...
It's definitely raining over there, isn't it? But right now, the track is, of course, bone dry and well over 50 degrees C. And it is, it's just going to be tough out there. But it is late afternoon. You know, we start qualifying at 4 p.m. local to 5 p.m. So the track will cool down a little bit and start yielding some grip. And that's so important there because there may only be 14 corners, but they follow each other very closely, and one very much leads into the next in places. So you've really got to get the rhythm going and have the mechanical grip to go with it.
We shouldn't be surprised that McLaren have dominated the practice sessions so far. Their car likes medium speed corners. There are a lot of those around here. It's very good on traction. You need that. It's very kind on its rear tyres as well. So is it Oscar versus Lando, Lando versus Oscar for pole today?
I think so. Yes, absolutely. The car looks superb out on track. Everybody's happy about it. McLaren are confident about it. And if it's a bone dry race, they'll be in another postcode by the end of it in the normal circumstances. But what we saw last weekend in Spa was that Oscar Piastri was clearly faster on Friday. And then all the data gets looked at overnight, and his teammate Lando Norris was right with him on Saturday. I think we've seen the same thing again here, except the other way around. Lando Norris just looked like he very much, you know, had an edge yesterday. We can't be that far away from the time when the McLaren boys start sandbagging, so they don't give too much data away as the championship gets ever nearer the finale. But it does look, I mean, but as ever, we're talking a quarter of or a third of a second at best And the Ferraris look pretty handy around here too, don't they?
Charles Leclerc had a best of the rest along with Lewis Hamilton. They're putting up a valiant fight, but ending up about 3/10 off the pace of the McLaren as these strains of "We Will Rock You" blast around this circuit. Everyone's looking forward to qualifying, and there's a lot of people that aren't undercover here, but they might want to have a little check of the radar, because there is that rain that we saw just to the fringes of this circuit. I think that might skirt past us a little bit, Martin. Couple of splodges maybe might hit the main straight, but we should get away with it. I hope we get away with it. Anna Taylor-Joy in the Ferrari garage. There are lots of Hollywood A-listers in and around Budapest filming new movies this weekend, and we've seen a few of them at the track so far.
Yeah, a lot of movies made out this part of the world, aren't there? As there are around London town as well. But right now, it's real action, and I would imagine Lewis is sitting.
And here we go. Qualifying is underway. Q1, and as you heard there, David Croft and Martin Brundle speaking about this upcoming session. Stop staring into my soul. Well, Bellew, I wasn't actually staring into your soul. I was going to start editing another video that I was going to upload, but that's not going to happen because qualifying has just got underway. It's now time for the Formula 1 Grand Prix, Hungarian. Bellew, I hope you can stay because this session is going to be quite intriguing indeed, but I'm going to guess it's late for you. I've just finished a Freca race that just happened, and Elizabeth stayed up until like 2 a.m. Picked to win. As you heard there from David Croft and Martin Brundle, the McLarens are almost unstoppable. The McLarens are almost unstoppable at this point. I'm going to go Oscar Piastri. But for pole, I reckon Lando. Lando will grab pole. Defining on what FP1 and FP2 I did, I know FP1 and FP2 wasn't the biggest tipping point because the track wasn't fully rubbered in, unlike it would be now for qualifying. But Lando seemed quite quick in FP1 and FP2. I'm going to go Lando. I'm going to go Lando for this first session. Lando for this first session, definitely. For pole, definitely Oscar for the race win. But it'll be definitely a battle for turn 1 if the McLarens line up 1-2 on the front row of the grid. The green light is on at the end of the pit lane. We are out for qualifying. You're going to be in for a surprise. So I see you've already watched it. Don't spoil it. No spoilers, please. No spoilers. No spoilers. I reckon, but I feel as if qualifying will go the way of either one of the McLarens. I feel like it has to. Max doesn't have the pace. Unlike what happened in FP1 and FP2, I don't reckon that's going to happen. It really isn't. FP1 and FP2, Max didn't seem to have the pace, unlike the McLarens did. But yeah, I reckon it'll just come down to who has the pace, and I feel like it's the McLarens. So yeah, we only got one car. Wait, let me pull up the live timing. Not live timing. Not the live timing. What am I doing? I forgot what I was doing. I was doing something before I finished that conversation. Anyway, not live timing. Session's done. But we've got like 2 cars out on circuit at the moment, and that is one of the Williams locking up, heading down into turn 1, starting his lap here in Q1. What do you think Verstappen qualifies? I'm going to say maybe P5. P5. I want to say P5. But then again, I feel like I'm wrong with that statement. Yet again. Alex Albon starting his lap, making his run up through turn 5, and then into turn T6, using the curb both on the left and right hand sides. Then once again into turn 8, turn 9, the long left and right handers. We will see my Aussie friend, I know. P5 or P6. Either, I feel. I don't feel like he has the pace. Alex Albon running through turn 12, making his now way into turn 13. The long right-hander. Turning back into the left-hander of the final corner, which is turn 14. And DRS open, down the back straight, and it's a 117.4 for Alexander Albon. There for that first lap here in qualifying. Yeah. As we take a look here at a replay of Carlos Sainz locking that right front tyre up as he tries to get down into turn number 1 to start his lap. We've just seen there Carlos go to the top. Albon quickly has been replaced. Let's send it down to Bernie Collins.
Sal has come on the radar there, and that's moving directly towards the track. So that might be what prompted some of these people to get on with their running plan. Very quickly, Crofty, if you've not gone through it already, when I was getting over here from the paddock, I'll go
Lift's
through
still not working.
The lift is still not working. I'll go through the drivers that have got 5 sets of soft for this qualifying session. So those drivers are Sonoda, the 2 Aston Martins, the 2 Haas, the 2 Racing Bulls, and the 2 Williams. So they have 1 more set than the other drivers on track.
That might be quite...
That, yeah, well, as Croft was about to say, that might be quite important for this session, because that could be the defining moment between pole or not, that extra set of soft compound tyres. But with those names that have just rattled off by Bernie Collins there, Haas, RB, I don't know. I don't reckon those two, in terms of taking pole, will happen. Those 4 cars don't have the pace. The Haas cars, I mean, they look alright. The Ferraris, on that question, on the Haas question there, Ferraris don't look too bad. Really, they don't look too bad. So I've also probably got my bet down on one of the Ferrari cars as well. If it be Hamilton or Leclerc, I don't know. Verstappen has gone to the top now, though. 1:16.346 that first time there for Max. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri doing very fast times. When I mean by fast, I mean Oscar Piastri has gone fastest through the first 2 sectors as Lando Norris clears the final corner of turn 14 and goes to the top. He's done a 1:15.9 there, and again that pace showing between the 2 McLarens and Red Bulls. I don't reckon the Red Bull cars have the pace. I don't reckon they do. Oscar Piastri to the line. Opens DRS. Purple. It is 3 tenths faster. He's done a 15.554 there. Lewis Hamilton breaking turn 13 now. The double apex turn 13. Getting as close as you can to that concreted curb there. Personal best first and second sector. About 4 tenths off Oscar Piastri. But we'll see what this lap is. It's on par with Lando Norris. It's a 15.949 for Lewis Hamilton. He pops himself up to P3. Ollie Behrman up into P6 there as we take a little replay of Oscar Piastri getting that car out in the gravel, out and in the dirt, and that will not be very good for those tyres, and it won't be very good for the incoming person that comes around, which, unfortunately, was Lewis Hamilton in that Ferrari coloured car. So, quite unfortunately there for Lewis Hamilton, he got second guessed to the gravel that was sitting on the apex of the corner down there. Charles Leclerc is going personal best first and second. This is going to be P6 for Leclerc. He's done a 16.2-1 for Leclerc. He's actually gone yellow through that final sector. Isaac Hadjar has gone P5, only 4 tenths off. He's done a 16.0. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, looking really quick. This young driver, the young Kimi Antonelli, looking very quick through the first sector, not so quick through the second sector, about 200 off Oscar Piastri. I feel like Antonelli might grab this. I don't know, but I feel like Antonelli might grab this, looking at the pace that he's had so far. But Antonelli, purple first sector, personal best second sector, he's gone P2. Jumps the McLaren of Lando Norris And only 2/10 off that McLaren of Oscar Piastri. 15.5. George Russell, P2. So the two Mercedes looking quick after 15.627 there. So very, very quick indeed for the two Mercs, P2 and P3. And that is Andrew Chauvelin looking on and getting his point of view of this session. Most likely, thinking, more or less. The two Williams on a lap down in P18 and P19. This is not looking good for the two Williams. They seem to show pace in qualifying. Can't show the pace in the race. That's where they're lacking. If they can find that pace, I reckon they're pretty good at the moment. Albon is only less than a millisecond faster than what Tsunoda is. Now, because Carlos Sainz has only gone P15, Albon might knock him out here with 8 minutes to go. But of course, you have enough time for that second run. Two McLarens have come back into the pits. They're P1 and P4 at the moment. This is Alex Albon to the line. He's knocked his teammate out in this early part of the session. He's gone P15. He's only 8/10 off the pace to 15.554 for Oscar Piastri, the time to beat. But those two Williams cars, 15th and 16th, the two Red Bulls are P13 and P17 in this session. Unless that's the genuine pace of those cars. And if it is, then they're in a lot of trouble, those two Red Bulls. Verstappen looking 7/10 off the pace. Tsunoda looking 1.1 seconds off the pace. Nico Hülkenberg, who was out in FP1 with Paul Aaron in that car. And you can see the gravel there that was kicked up by one of the McLarens, which was Oscar Piastri. And then Lewis Hamilton bring on a bit more. Now Nico Hülkenberg being the driver to put more gravel on the circuit down there. Carlos Sainz in P16. 200ths separates him and his teammate Alex Albon. It is actually quite tight between that knockout. That's because the circuit's so short around here. So the times are tighter. It's 1.2 seconds separating the field. This is going to be tight for pole position if it stays this way. But of course, you heard from David Croft and Martin Brundle with the rain that's on the radar as some of the Williams crew there putting their hands out, feeling for any rain. As I think there is definitely rain on the radar for this session as people. And that is one of the Aston Martins. I think that's Lance Stroll making his way out of the pit lane. Bellew says top 5 F1 drivers of all time. Daniel Ricciardo. Sit P1. Do you count Lewis Hamilton as... Yeah, you know what? Daniel Ricciardo. I'm going to go Michael Schumacher. No, swap that around. Michael Schumacher, Daniel Ricciardo, Lewis Hamilton, and then... Oh, who else? Who else would there be? Who else? Nico Rosberg as well. And Jenson Button. Top 5 of all time, I reckon. Bellew, same question for you. Top 5 F1 drivers of all time. That's my question to you. What's your top 5 F1 drivers of all time? Felipe Drugovich watching on, the test and reserve driver for Alpine. Made his way out in FP1 a bit earlier on today, replacing Fernando Alonso. So, Felipe has been... Since we last saw Felipe, he was also competing in the World Endurance Championship for the Le Mans 24 Hours, which was quite cool. Indeed, I would love to do a Le Mans 24-hour race, even if it's just on a simulator. That would be quite cool. See that. Track temperature has dropped to 47 degrees. It's 4.5 minutes to go. That is still awfully hot, these track conditions. 47. Lance Stroll has gone purple through the first sector. On this second lap, sorry. Lance Stroll is flying through that first sector on that grippy set of soft compound tyres. Heads through T8 and T9. Fast left, right, left complex of corners. Fernando Alonso also building up for a lap. He's just gone purple through the first sector. So this track ramping up as the temps drop, the track rubbering in a bit more here. So the temps are dropping, track is rubbered up, and we are now about to get a hectic last 3.5 minutes of this session. Lance Stroll, Personal West, first and second sector. Fernando Alonso is purple through the first sector, but most likely on to go to the top of the session. Lance Stroll to the line, he's gone P3, only a 10th off. Fernando Alonso, meanwhile, has gone fastest through the first two sectors as he runs through T13 at the moment. T14, the final corner. Double apex right-hander, getting as close as he can to that Lenovo signage on the power. Early, it's a 15-2, 2 whole tenths faster. Ocon.
I got a screw stuck on my front right.
On the tire.
Yeah, it's not in, but...
And I will monitor.
And no time.
So there's a screw stuck in the right front of Esteban Ocon's car. The driver's eliminated. A few big names. Carlos Sainz, Tsunoda. Those two big names that are in two quite quick cars. Would you count Williams quick? Maybe. Esteban Ocon, the two Hasses are out at the moment in this session. But Ocon going quite slow out of the pit lane here. Trying to find a bit of track position at the moment. But yeah, Fernando Alonso, that second lap looked quite stunning. More or less. So that second lap from Fernando Alonso looked quite stunning. And those tyres gripped up for him. But did they go too early? The two Aston Martins, they're P1 and P4. They're in a pretty good position, is Fernando Alonso. Did they go too early, though? Max Verstappen, of course, after the summer break, he heads to his home ground. He will be wanting a good result there. That is, of course, in nearly 4 weeks' time. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri is going extremely, extremely quick. He's nearly 4 tenths faster than Fernando Alonso. We could see a 14 within the back part of Q1. 1 minute 50 seconds to go. Max Verstappen has gone personal best through the first sector. 0.1 of Fernando Alonso. Oscar Piastri to the line. He's gone 7/100ths faster. He's lost a bit of time in that final sector there. And has stayed. Has gone P1. He's done a 15.21. Max Verstappen is about 3 tenths off the pace. He's down in P13. He is on the cusp. Yuki Tsunoda is 4 tenths up on Alex Albon. This will put him about P12 if he keeps the pace up for Yuki. Isaac Hadjar is also on a lap as well. 2 tenths off. Watch Fernando Norris is down in P3. Max Verstappen up into P6. Only half a second off the pace. Yuki Tsunoda has gone personal best first 10-second sector. And the projected knockout time is 1:16.1. Yuki has gone P8. That might put him through. Isaac Hadjar, P10 in this session. What's the lap going to be? It's P3 from the Racing Bull cars. Beautiful job. Beautiful, beautiful job indeed from Isaac Hadjar as Gabriel Bortoleto coming into this season with a full-time drive. Personal best first and second sector to the line. It's P5 for the kick salvo of Gabriel Bortoleto. And Carlos Sainz, meanwhile, is out. He's P17. His personal best first and second sector is looking quite stunning. And to put him inside Q2, he's gone P7. Pierre Gasly has gone personal best first and second sector, coming out of turn 13. Now, I don't know why I have Imola track map still up. I probably should change back to the Hungarian. Pierre Gasly running to the line. He's gone P13. That lap probably won't put him safe. The one name that is on the cusp now is Leclerc. Leclerc is less than 1/100th of a second away from getting knocked out. The two Ferraris are in big trouble. They're P13 and P16. Lewis Hamilton starting his lap now, and he's making his run down through turn 5. On the exit, trying to get the power down now into turn 6. It's right, left, using the chicane. Car getting sideways on the exit of 6 or 7. Leclerc is outside of Q1. Leclerc is on a risk of getting knocked out. He's gone really quick through the first sector. The two Ferraris are at risk. Hulkenberg has been knocked out by Esteban Ocon, who's moved up into P15. Ollie Behrman up into P10. Lewis Hamilton, though, does not look like he's improving very much. Leclerc, P18, but will go most likely close to the top or even P2. Liam Lawson is 200ths up on Pierre Gasly, but will that put him in? I reckon that will. Lewis Hamilton up into P9. What does Leclerc do? This is Liam Lawson running through now turn 13. Final corner turn 14. Leclerc P5. The two Ferraris are safe. That's as if... No. Yes, Ferrari are safe. Lawson P14. I think Lawson might have scraped in. Lawson did. Tsunoda out. Ocon out. Hulkenberg out. And possibly Alex Albon out as well. So that is the way that Q1 has worked for these drivers. And Piastri, Alonso, what a name up there in P2 in this session. That is a really big name up there in P3, P2. My favourite Formula 1 driver is Charles Leclerc. Epic. There, as that is Andrea Saint-Melux, the Charles Leclerc's wife, more or less, as Yuki Tsunoda out in Q1 by less than 100th of a second over Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Nico Hulkenberg, and we have Esteban Ocon.
That was fortunately, so it was a clean lap.
So Ocon saying there that was the cleanest lap he had inside of that car. That Haas is struggling for pace. The ads are killing me. The ads are killing me. They certainly are. They certainly are. I'm going to try and get back to the beginning of this interview. Please. Okay. Yeah. So we have Oscar Piastri topping that first session. The Aussie is in a pretty good position. Let's now get an interview with Zak Brown with in McLaren.
Yeah, Björnman impeding me.
Loud and clear. As for that.
And he's still the only driver on the grid not to be knocked out in Q1 because he's safely through, as was Ollie Ben, and the stewards may have a look at that incident, or they may not. Yuki Tsunoda, 10th and a half off his teammate Max Verstappen, is out, but for McLaren, Oscar Piastri setting the pace. Zak Brown is their CEO. He's with us on the pit wall, and big pace from Oscar from the start there, but Lando lagging a bit behind, Zak.
Yeah, not a very tidy lap there. We went out on used rubber there at the end, so I think we've preserved the set for hopefully Q3.
It's really curious to watch this at the moment. I mean, the outliers comfortably in the top 10s, and we got Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton with only 2 new sets of tyres left through Q2 and Q3. I mean, it's so competitive out there.
It's extremely competitive. It tightened up as usual. You know, FP3 was a little bit larger gap than we were anticipating, but it looks like we've got our usual Formula 1 here, and it's going to be an exciting Q2 and Q3.
We're seeing a lot of cloud cover coming over the circuit, a bit of rain on the fringes too. What's your radar telling you?
We don't think it's going to hit the circuit. It's about 5 kilometers away, so it's going to have to move quick if it's going to get here in time.
That's very true.
Any clue what's going on at Aston Martin? Because they've just come from nowhere to very much somewhere here this weekend.
Yeah, no, they're looking like the real deal. That was a great lap time by both cars, especially Fernando. Looks like whatever upgrades they maybe have, or this suits their car, but they definitely, and Hadger put in a good lap time. So we can have an interesting starting grid here for Sunday.
We're looking forward to it. Zak, hopefully we'll talk to you in about 15 minutes' time after Q2 has finished, the start of which has been delayed whilst the marshals sweep away the gravel that Oscar Piastri deposited onto the circuit. 10,296 seats in the grandstand, and right at the top where you can see those red booths, that's where Martin and myself are situated. Box 12, I think. 11, I'm told. We're next door to box 12. Thank you very much to Mark, our sound producer, who actually did look at the sign as we walked in. There's the weather radar. It's a bit of a way from the circuit, as Zak was saying, but definite cloud coming in. The more cloud that comes in, the more the track temperature drops, the more it seems to help some cars and kind of take away that big McLaren advantage when the track's at its hottest.
I think they're okay at McLaren, but it's probably closer than they were perhaps expecting at this stage. So that's an interesting one in the low-speed corners. Alonso splitting the McLarens, and these days that's an extremely good effort, isn't it? But to remind you, McLaren were on used tyres at the end there, which when you've got a very slow track like this, the mechanical grip of a fresh set of tyres pays extra dividends. So it's getting ever cooler out there. That should play into the hands of Mercedes-Benz a little bit. They tend to go better, don't they, when it's cooler. Be a lot of head scratching going on at Red Bull. Max Verstappen managing 11th in that, and looking sort of really generally missing pace, wasn't he?
Well, they were 11th in Q1, as you said, 12th in final practice, and 14th in second practice. So it's not a surprise. The surprise is they've not found a cure at Red Bull to whatever their issues were that was causing Max to say the car was undrivable on Friday.
Yeah.
And it was sliding around like it had no grip, especially out of that corner, the final corner, where the fans are doing the big wave, waiting for qualifying to start. Well done to Franco Colapinto, by the way, who hasn't been in Q3 yet this season, but has out-qualified Pierre Gasly for just the second time. Alex Albon, 20th, and last in Q1 for the first time since Imola in 2022. And what else? Max Verstappen, Yuki Tsunoda, as I mentioned, about 10th and a half slower than Max Verstappen. That's a 4th Q1 elimination in the last 8 races for Yuki.
Ouch. But the rookies are starting to really get it together on there. Hadjar, Bortoletto, good examples of that. They're getting some confidence, and they've had a decent amount of racing and qualifying now this season. And you could tell from Nico Hülkenberg's radio, his teammate, Gabriel Bortoletto's teammate, quite exasperated to find he was best part of half a second off the pace.
Yeah, just a bit.
So here we go. Time for second qualifying. So Q2 here. Here for Formula One, as the cars will make their way out of pit lane. But yeah, as we saw from just that previous session alone, struggling for pace was one of the Red Bulls, and a bit of a head scratcher, as you heard there from Martin Brundle and David Croft, saying that that car may be just struggling for a bit of pace, is that Red Bull, but can't do much about it. Colapinto.
Oh, these guys.
So Colapinto there complaining about the more or less the traffic that is ensuing through the pit lane. Of course, you can join the conversation. Salesforce, hashtag Hungarian Grand Prix. During the conversation, who do you think will get pole? Is the Kick Sauber team feel for what is any rain that could be coming in this session? Andrea Kimi Antonelli, very quick in Q1. Possibly going to hold that up in this session. Most likely, Oscar Piastri.
If it's wet.
Patch of rain passing turn 1, turn 5, essentially.
See the rain.
Oscar Piastri being told there that a patch of rain could and would be coming turn 1 or T5. So T1, T5, the biggest opportunity for any rain to hit. Andrea Kimi Antonelli making his run through turn 5. Through turn 5, the fast hairpin, second hairpin on this circuit. Then turn 6 and turn 7, the chicane. The curbs don't look as high as what they do in real life. In real life, they're much smaller compared to the F1 game. When you see they're much higher in terms of elevation, those curbs, it tends to understeer the car inside the F1 game. Andrea Kimi Antonelli going quick through the second sector, but of course that's because nobody else has set a time at the moment, as Kimi Antonelli once again kicks gravel down.
Has just come out of the pit.
Max Verstappen saying expect best track conditions at the end of the session. So end of the session is when the best track conditions will be, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli sits the first time, the first banker, 1:16.3. George Russell making his way to the line. He's gone to the top, he's done a 16.0. Lance Stroll, he's gone personal best first and second sector. So all the way through those two sectors, looking quite quick is Lance Stroll. On the exit, getting the power down, and to the line, it's a 15.680. So not a bad lap at all there for Lance Stroll. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli have set the first 3 times. Fernando Alonso has done a 15.395. So good lap there. And really quick times, actually, from the top 2 cars, which is the 2 Aston Martins, which is almost surprising. So those Aston Martins, maybe doing a few setup changes. Maybe the drivers are liking the car a little bit more with these new setups that maybe they've put on before this session, or even in FP3 that they didn't actually get to test. As Lando Norris going a 10th up on Fernando Alonso through the first sector, sitting down in P10, but that is soon to change. But the Aston Martins at the moment, 1-2. Not expecting this, really. It's almost a shock to see the Aston Martins up there, 1-2 in this session. Purple first sector, as he runs through Lando Norris. Turn 8, turn 9, and turn 10 into turn 11. Sorry, turn 12 this is. Exiting turn 12 and also exiting turn 11. This is turn 13. Now, with a long right-hander and then another long right-hander. Almost feels as if you're turning forever. Purple first and second sector for Lando Norris. To the line, DRS open. Half a second faster. It's a 1:14.890 there from Lando. So, that pace showing that McLaren on brand new rubber, nearly half a second faster compared to those Aston Martins, and that's where the head scratching will be on those new tyres, as Hamilton, Piastri and Leclerc looking quick through all 3 sectors at the moment. Hamilton P9, Piastri, he's currently running through the final corner. This is turn 14 on the exit, getting the power down, using the ripple strip on the exit. To the line, it's P2. He's gone fast through the third sector. It's a 14.9 there. Leclerc running through the final corner as well. It's personal best first and second. He's gone P10. He's only on the cusp. The 2 Ferraris on that opening lap, maybe only on used tyres. So track limits there for Franco Colapinto. That will keep Hamilton in. So Franco Colapinto time deleted, which will put that young man under a lot of pressure, heading for his second lap when they do in about 5 or so minutes time. Max Verstappen making his way back to the pit lane. He's only P8 in this session. Again, a lot of pressure from the Dutchman. And a lot of pressure as we take a look here at Franco Colapinto in the Alpine. And time lost through turn 9. Oversteer and using a bit too much of the track there. And that has caused track limits. You will see the oversteer happen almost mid-corner, 17.269. That lap 1:17.269 time. That was quickly deleted there by the FIA for track limits. Oliver Behrman sitting inside his car waiting for new tyres to be thrown on and to go again. Clear over the radio.
Focus please on one thing, which is to go out as soon as possible. Don't care about anything else. I want the least cars possible I'll exit on the pit lane. Understood?
So Leclerc not happy with the traffic that Ferrari have put him out in. So not happy at all for Leclerc. And he wants that car out on the track as soon as possible. So Leclerc not happy with that traffic here in this session. Traffic can be a big talking point because it's only a small circuit. It's 4.3 kilometers, the track width around here. So quite a small track. Of course, last year we saw Oscar Piastri win. The year before it was Max Verstappen, who's won here in 2022 and 2023. This year probably won't be able to back that up. Max Verstappen won't be able to back up possibly a win this year. Doesn't seem to have the pace, as he hasn't all season since probably Spa. Probably the start of Spa, or even Silverstone. That car hasn't had pace, the Red Bull, or even really the year since after Australia. That car hasn't had pace. And now it's just a bit of a mind boggle because Christian Horner gone out of that team. Well, no longer in the team is Christian Horner, and it's a bit of a head scratcher for Red Bull as to whether or not where the pace is. You know, that car really needs to find pace if we're in the back end of this season. Otherwise, they're in a lot of trouble. Indeed, a lot of trouble. Lewis Hamilton is just out by less than 100th of a second over what is Leclerc. So the two Ferraris, one on the cusp, one out, and the one on the cusp is Leclerc. Now, the one thing that's notable in this session is that we're seeing the two Aston Martins look quite quick compared to the Ferraris. They're both inside the top 10. They're about half a second off the pace of the McLaren. So, possibly upgrades being thrown onto that car in a short amount of time, more or less. So, that's a good noting point there. 51 minutes. Not 51 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go in this session. And the time to beat Orlando Norris, which is 1:14.890. Here as Lance Stroll making his way through the long 8, 9, 10, 11. Which doesn't feel... It genuinely just doesn't feel as if that corner ends. It's all but one corner. To the left and a right, and hearing there the message from Leclerc, people heading out straight away in this session. Lance Stroll moves up into P3 after that lap. Again, is it too early or is it just on time as everybody else timed this wrong? But for Lance Stroll, only 2/10 off the pace. That's a really good lap from Lance Stroll. That car looking pacey in this session as the traffic is diabolical as people come out of the pit lane and trying, and there you go, so that Williams very much in the wrong spot as Verstappen having to try and dodge him. So that Williams was not sent out very safely. It is a very tight pit lane, this one. And that Alpine just able to get out of the pit lane. And the Kiki Sauber has now just been sent out of the pit lane as well. So it's absolute havoc in the pit lane. 3.5 minutes to go. Wow, who would have thought? Who would have thought indeed that the pit lane would be such a talking point in Q2 with traffic within the pit lane. Leclerc he's been sent out quite well actually as he runs through T13. Does Leclerc think of different options for next year? I don't know. What options are there? There's not really that many, that's the thing. So, I don't know. I mean, if you're staying with Ferrari, then you're almost, you know, hoping for downfall, really, for your season. Because Ferrari don't seem to be as quick. But yes, Ferrari are second best to McLaren. They're practically the second fastest car out on track at the moment. But not showing it. They're P18 and they're P10 and P11 at the moment, and they should be P3 and P4. As Leclerc gets a big opposite lock moment on the exit of turn 4 and now into turn 5. So getting on the power a bit too early, and that opposite lock really hurting him. Lewis Hamilton. It's gone about a 10th quicker than Leclerc through that first sector. So the battle to get into Q3. The two Ferraris, the two Dino Ferraris, are struggling to try and get in here as Leclerc now looking a bit more respectable through that second sector. 3/10 off the two McLarens as running through turn 13 is Leclerc. And then turn 14, the long right-hander, double apex, more or less, Lewis Hamilton. As well running through turn 13, Leclerc to the line, it's P5. So that Ferrari just scraping in by the tip of his fingernails. But I don't reckon that's good enough. Hamilton out of the final corner, turn 14. DRS to the line, it's P7. Battery to the line as well. It's not good enough, I don't reckon. Kimi Antonelli as well, P14. The projected knockout time would be a 1:15.7. Can that stay alive? Andrea Kimi Antonelli, that car really bottoming out as he runs through T8 and T9. And then into T10. Sorry, this is T12, T13 now. Car getting a bit sideways there on exit. Well, even on entry, car mid-oversteer there. As Kimi Antonelli opening that DRS and battery to the line. It's P8. It's not good enough for Kimi Antonelli. Verstappen is out though. He's 12th. George Russell, P11. At the moment, the fastest first sector has gone to Oscar Piastri. And I think they're on used tyres. Russell, P4. Behrman on the cusp. Kimi Antonelli now, P9. Verstappen, only P8. Verstappen is at risk. And Hamilton is out. Hamilton is knocked out. He's P12. Possibly for 2 consecutive rounds in a row. Bortoleto is P10. He's just scraped in. Definitely used tyres here for Piastri. Nice went out. Colapinto is P15. About to knock Hamilton down another spot in this session. Piastri P2. He's done a 15.7. That lap is not indicative, but it's P2. For Oscar Piastri, he's closed out by 2/10. Colapinto only P14. Carlos Sainz is out. He's P15. He's dead last. 1.3 seconds off the pace. He's personal best first and second sector to the line. DRS open. Only P14. Colapinto drops back down to P15. So, that's big. Lewis Hamilton, 2 consecutive rounds in a row, is knocked out. And Ferrari in a bottle job at the moment. They're in a loop of getting knocked out or being in. Oh my god. Wow. 2 rounds in a row, the Ferraris have been knocked out. Lewis Hamilton?
Every time. Every time.
That is very true. That's very, very disappointing. Wow.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be out. Man, I have no rear. I don't know. Like, what the heck? Okay, let me have a look through that.
Yeah,
Lewis Hamilton out. Kimi Antonelli saying he's got no rear. We saw that as he was running through turn 13. The replay showing, and this is the turn 1 entry for Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Missing the apex at turn 1. Car understeered because he missed the apex. And on corner exit, oversteering. So that Mercedes still not hooked up the way Kimi Antonelli would like it. This is Lewis Hamilton. So it's Leclerc running through. Oh, that's big oversteer through T4 and then on the entry of T5. So that curb bottoming out, and then the oversteer starts. And that was a big oversteer moment for Leclerc. And once again, Lewis Hamilton is knocked out. When are Ferrari going to learn that they need to send their drivers out earlier? That's their problem. That's Ferrari's problem there, is that they don't send the drivers out early enough. They get stuck in traffic, they run out of time, and they don't have enough time for 2 laps. Leclerc has actually probably mastered that, really. He's done a good job. He's told the team, I want to go out early. That's what's happened. And, oh my lord, Hamilton is knocked out once again. And it's all because they've bottled the strategy. It's nothing that it's nothing that Hamilton can do. It's the team. It's really, I'd like to say it's the team. Bortoleto?
Yeah, bro. Get free. Again. I can see your man. Let's go! Again! Yes!
Gabriel Bortoleto, very happy with that. The man that's not so very happy with his performance is on Lewis Hamilton. Out.
For others, Lewis Hamilton, just looking at what happened here in Sector 3. Turn 12 looked good. Maybe a little bit steady on picking up throttle, but watch this in Turn 13. A snap of oversteer comes mid-corner, just towards the exit. He has to breeze up the throttle momentarily, and again in the final corner. Watch the hands. He's unsure of what the rear is doing in that Ferrari, and he says, you know, yet again we're going out in a session where I felt like I had the speed to go through. It looked like to me just it was a tyre issue there, that the rear's just given up on him through the lap. Behrman as well, we look at what happened to him in turn 13, the same corner catching him out, which brought Lewis out, but to an even more extreme result, wider out of that corner, and then has to take a tight line into the final corner, wrestling with the car the whole way through. It's a common thing that happens here, as we know, in Sector 3, but it was a disaster for Kimi Antonelli. Watch the chicane, too much curb in turn 7, right over that one, the car doesn't like it. Then on the exit of turn 9 as well, an early turn-in causes this moment, the snappiness. He's got dirt on the outside tyres, and then he turns into, I'll just play it on again, into 11, and the car's unstable straight away. So it just takes away the driver's confidence. Also, they went maybe a little bit too early, I think, with Kimi there. You've got to give your driver the best chance possible as the track continued to ramp up, as Max Verstappen was told by his team at Red Bull. Back to you, Crofty.
Thanks ever so much, Hans. We go for pole now then, and pole here in Budapest has been taken by a British driver in a Mercedes-powered car for the last 5 consecutive pole positions. And, well, Lewis Hamilton was never going to be one of those this weekend because he's driving a Ferrari-powered car now, but Lando Norris has gone fastest in the second part of qualifying and is the one that can carry that streak going. But he's going to have a lot of pressure from his teammate Oscar Piastri, and McLaren are going to be kept honest by Aston Martin, who was racing points back in 2020, did qualify 3rd and 4th here. So the team, as it was then, had previous here, Martin, but it is a surprise to see them up there and doing so well, so consistently throughout this weekend.
Yeah, they've done something because both drivers are very fast and the car's consistently quick as well. The pain for Antonelli down in 15 is he saved 2 new sets of soft tyres for Q3, so they'll probably wish that they had used those a little bit earlier, used 2 new sets in Q2 now. So there's the radar, and it looks like it's going to stay dry, doesn't it?
One would certainly hope so. I think we've got enough excitement coming our way without any wet stuff to get in the way of it. Saving 2 new sets of soft tyres and then not getting through to Q3. It's like having the lottery numbers and never buying a ticket, right? The winning lottery numbers and never buying a ticket.
It's very much like that, yes.
Got to be in it to win it. And they're here enjoying themselves. And we're about to get going. 2 Aston Martins, Stroll and Alonso, heading out onto the track.
This session, the most important now. It's time to decide pole for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's time to decide pole. It's Q3. It's probably the most important session of the weekend. And the most intense thing I'll probably commentate that doesn't involve Formula 2, which I've got coming up a couple hours because I've got a lunch break next, and then I'm back on for Formula 2, which is awesome. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton knocked out again in Q2. Not showing a Q3 performance since what? Probably, not even Silverstone. Silverstone was a struggle as well for Lewis, as, I mean, that's very much a disappointing sight, more or less. As Max Verstappen makes his way out what looks to be on old tyres. So it's obvious McLaren have played this very well. I mean, they've almost been untouchable. They really have this season. Didn't talk about them much through that second session. Of course, just being because they set a lap down and they could probably go one shot and grab pole. Really, they could do a one-shot quali and grab pole. With the pace just of those McLarens. Who's going to grab pole? It's going to be between the 2 McLarens. Either one of them. It has to be. No other car except for... No, not even Ferrari. Really, Leclerc might even just finish P8 here. P8, P7. P7. Tom Sard on screen at the moment, race engineer for Oscar Piastri. He's on the track at the moment. But it's very strange. Very strange. Is that just a strategy standpoint of, as, like, Ferrari are struggling to get into Q3 and they need to fix it. It's obviously just a traffic thing. They're struggling to find a bit of clear air and pull a lap together as Lance Stroll speaking of pull a lap together, he's pulling a lap together by going absolutely sideways through T9 and T10 and bottoming out a little bit. He's gone personal best first sector, purple second sector. Fernando Alonso has gone up through the first sector as well. He's purple. So over 1 lap pace, unknown to the 70 lap pace that they've got to have, these Aston Martins, as Lance Stroll running through the final corner, the double apex of T14. Lance Stroll to the line. He's on a 16.6. That's not pole. Very much not pole, actually. Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso looking quite quick. So Fernando bringing back his prime self here, even with a sore back. 16.0 is Fernando Alonso. He's gone to the top. Lando Norris, purple through the first sector is Papel. It is Papel for Lando Norris, unsurprisingly. And his teammate is quite far back. He's nearly 3/10 back through that first sector. It's not looking quick for Piastri through the first sector at the moment. At the moment, we've got Leclerc, who's gone faster through the first sector. Piastri has gone 2/10 faster than Norris. Russell has gone faster through the first sector now. It was quickly stolen there as Lando Norris goes to the top. He's done a 15.494. What does Oscar Piastri do on his first lap? Through the final corner, turn 14, to the line, DRS open, battery burning. It's less than a 10th faster. Wow, what a lap. Meanwhile, George Russell is continuing on with it. It's purple, Papel. It's Papel everywhere for George Russell. Saying that in the Italian accent I am. Here, purple first sector, purple second sector. This will be provisional pole for George Russell. Saturday, man? No. He lost all the time in that final sector. That's a question mark. Because that car already just looks so quick. That car looks gripped up. It looks ready to put a pole lap together. Verstappen, meanwhile, does not look like he's going to put a pole lap together here. This lap does definitely not look like a pole lap. Verstappen to the line, P5 to 16.1. Not quick for Max Verstappen. If he does grab pole, it's almost shocking. Lauren Minkeys looking on there. 7 minutes to go. If you're enjoying, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you for the 2 likes on this stream. At the moment, Isaac Hadjo has not set the time. Saving. Possibly the only set of softs. Again, they have 5 sets of soft compound tyres do RP. So they're pretty good. Lance Stroll. Time deleted at turn 9. So that 1:16.6 that looked almost as if it wasn't going to be a pole time. And this is why George Russell lost his time. Final corner, big snap of oversteer. He would have gone to the top. That's where he lost nearly half a second. That final corner. That was quite a big snap as well. So that's where he lost his time. 6.5 minutes to go. Lance Stroll has not set a time. He's P9. He needs to get back out there. Probably now to set that time. And that will be now just a waste of tyres. As Oscar Piastri, he's on provisional pole, but McLaren will be throwing everything at it here. There's nothing. The team are not stopping anybody. Either McLaren car can get pole. The team are not stopping either McLaren car. Who cares? It's still for the team. It's still for the team. George Russell.
No, nice. Very good, yeah, I think.
It's worth pointing out.
Yeah, so that doesn't seem dusty, but it is, obviously. So, I don't know. It's between the top 3. It's between the top 3. Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Leclerc, Lawson, Bortoletto, Stroll, and Hadjar do not have the pace to get pole. It's going to be between the 2 McLarens and Russell. This is going to be epic. Max Verstappen will not get pole. I feel it. I feel it. He will not have the pace to get pole here. He's got 5 minutes. 5 minutes remaining. And Lance Stroll, as I said, gets out immediately trying to set this lap time and trying to put a banker down. Lance Stroll, he's under pressure here. He's P9. And that car looked quick through this whole session of qualifying. He just has to stick it together again. Can he do it? 4.5 minutes to go. 4.5 minutes to go, Max Verstappen.
I'm ready on the outlap. I just said, I again, very quick. It's like literally driving on ice.
So Max Verstappen, they're saying he's driving on ice. Oh my lord. So, is that cold tyres? Would that be cold tyres? Most likely. So that car has no grip. So it's a grip, the mechanical grip coming through those tyres. So what Red Bull are struggling with now is they're struggling with trying to get the tyre temper. And it's 50 degrees. So they're struggling with mechanical grip, Red Bull. Verstappen is struggling. That's all I can say. Lance Stroll can't bottle this lap here because this is Q3. This is the battle for pole. But I don't reckon Stroll will take pole here in this session. If he does, it'll be a Stroll take pole moment. But that probably won't happen. 200s up is Lance Stroll. He is, at the moment, 200s up on Bortoleto. So this lap is not looking good for Lance Stroll. Track temper's gone down. But yeah, he's 200s up on Bortoleto through that first sector. This lap's not looking good. Fernando Alonso, hello. Hello, pole position, man. He's gone purple through the first sector. Absolutely rapid. This is looking good. Turn 13, runs Lance Stroll. Hello, pole man. Fernando Alonso might just grab pole with 3 minutes to go, but the two McLarens are going to be pressuring him. Lance Stroll to the line. What's the lap going to be? It's P3. It's a second row. Lance Stroll found time in that final sector. Good job. P3 for that Aston Martin. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso is 200s off Oscar Piastri through the second sector. The McLarens are not safe. Well, what I mean by not safe is they're not safe for pole position. Not at this point. Fernando Alonso through the final corner, turn 14. DRS to the line, it's P2. 800s off Oscar Piastri. It's Fernando Alonso on the front row of the grid so far. But the one problem is you've got Lando Norris and George Russell. So that position might change. Maybe P4 this weekend for Fernando, which would be his best qualifying start. And the same with Lance Stroll. But the problem is do Aston Martin have the pace in the race? That's the big talking point here. If they have the pace in the race, they're going to be a contender for this win here at Hungary, here at the Hungaroring. Lando Norris.
Season.
It's a good lap. It was a pretty good lap last night. Good job.
Indeed, a pretty good lap. Lando Norris, of course, last season came second best to his teammate. So McLaren very good in form, like they have been at every circuit so far. So there's no shock horror with that. They've been good at every circuit. They've put together poles, they've put together wins, and they've put together some pretty good battles. Now they have to do it here at the Hungaroring, and try and grab pole. Lando Norris on screen at the moment. You've got 78 seconds, Lando Norris. Can you grab a pole off Oscar Piastri? Let's go. Let's go lap on board with Lando Norris. Running down into turn number 1. Braking at the 100-meter board. Turning in. Long right-hander. Using the ripple strip on the outsides. The time to beat in the first sector, 27.6. Oscar Piastri is on a lap as well. The time to beat for himself is the time that Lando Norris does. If he beats that, he will take pole position. You've got 45 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, and you've got 700 separating Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Lando is down through the first sector. Leclerc is up. He might have just taken pole. Real tight between first and third. Leclerc takes provisional pole. It's a 15.37. The McLarens might just not do it. They're 700s down. The McLarens. Norris is 2/10 down in the second sector. This might not happen. It might just not happen. How'd you up into P7? Lando Norris is P4 at the moment. He's 1/10. 1/10 off Leclerc. Can he find 1/10? Lando Norris to the line. P3. He doesn't take pole position. Oscar Piastri doesn't look as if he's going to do it anyway. It might just have been Leclerc that takes pole. Is it Oscar Piastri? No. He's 2/10 off. It's less than a tenth separating the top 3 cars. You've just got Max Verstappen. It's just Max Verstappen separating Leclerc and pole position. Heading through now. 5th gear, 190 kilometers an hour on the approach of turn 9. Turn 10, the right-hander. 3/10 off. This is not going to be good enough. It's going to be P7 for Max Verstappen. Leclerc might have just taken pole here in Q3. The Monegasque is about to take pole. Russell P4, less than a 10th. Showing that Ferrari have pace. And they've slotted it. Verstappen only P8. It's Leclerc that takes pole at Hungaroring. Leclerc showing pace here in Q3. Leclerc takes pole. What a session. Was that to be expected? No, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. Pirelli pole position goes to Leclerc. It's a 1:15.372.
Norris 6/10 slower than Q2. They didn't have their pace again when it mattered in the final part of qualifying. Charles Leclerc did. He did a 15.4, then a 15.3 in the 3 parts of qualifying, and that, remarkably, surprisingly, was enough. Well done, Charles.
The Hungaroring, he said on Thursday, is the worst track of the season for me. I'm not sure why. I think it's just become his best track of the season so far, isn't it?
Yeah, he'll be very happy with that. He'll be towing the McLarens down to the first corner. It's always about how you keep the tyres in over and over. Depends how hot the race is, really. But for now, Leclerc is the fastest man in the world this afternoon.
Oh, what a qualifying that was. Never on the front row here in Hungary before. What a lap he's put in. And he was given, the middle sector was just brilliant from him. And dodging the traffic as he came round, that was Russell about to start his final flying lap. And really pushing hard through this final corner. Super. Super from Charles Leclerc.
I tell you what, Lando Norris could...
Winner, P1. What? Mamma mia! Oh my God.
Yeah, that's one way of describing it.
So Lando Norris did a 15.4, so did Russell, so did Alonso, so did Stroll. It wouldn't have been that difficult for Lando to be 6th. And we thought, I certainly thought, the McLarens would walk this qualifying session.
Just over a 1/10 of a second between the top 6 on the grid here. Oscar Piastri might be pretty satisfied with P2, where he starts for the 3rd consecutive race, and of course where he won his maiden Grand Prix from in 2024. You mentioned it, Martin. It's a long drag down to turn 1, 472 metres.
It used to be really bad news starting on the right side of the grid here, but a brand new surface, I think, will sort that out.
The one I'll be thinking and scratching his head most, I'm sure, it is Lando Norris. Like, where did the pace disappear from on that final run? On those new sets of tyres, it's food for thought from him. But I've seen drivers come from P3 to lead into turn 1 here before, so all is not lost. Hinch has got the mic, and he's got the pole sitter in front of it.
And now we are here with Charles Leclerc, your pole sitter for the Hungarian Grand Prix, 27th career pole. Charles, I mean, look, the Ferrari's been quick this weekend, easily the 2nd best team, but did you guys think you had that kind of pace in qualifying?
Today I don't understand anything at Formula One. I mean, honestly, the whole qualifying has been extremely difficult. When I say extremely difficult, it's not exaggerating. It was super difficult. It was difficult for us to get to Q2. It was difficult for us to get to Q3. Q3, the conditions changed a little bit. Everything became a lot trickier, and I knew I just had to do a clean lap to target 3rd. At the end of the day, is pole position. I mean, I definitely did not expect that.
A little speechless almost. So you mentioned the conditions changing. How much could you feel it on racetrack? Q1, it was sunny, it was warm. By Q3, we've got this cloud cover. It's really cooled down. Could you feel that grip change on the track?
Yeah, I could definitely feel it a lot, and I was also a bit on the lower side of the downforce. So when the rain started in Q2, I was just hoping that it wouldn't stay there. It didn't. The conditions changed, which made everything very tricky. And at the end, we are on pole position. Honestly, I have no words. Yeah, it's probably one of the best pole positions I've ever had, because it's the most unexpected for sure.
Last week, Oscar said qualifying on pole at Spa, maybe not the best place to start pole. Here, a great place to start pole position. Track position so important here. How confident are you going into the race? You can lead out of turn 1 and bring this win home.
Yeah, I mean, the start and turn 1 will be key. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how it will go, but one thing for sure is that I'll do absolutely everything in order to keep that first place. If we manage to do that, then that should make our life easier for the rest of the race.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Your
you.
pole
Thank you
sitter,
very much.
Charles Leclerc.
Thank you.
Oscar, you're going to line up P2 front row on the grid tomorrow. I mean, I guess let's start with just how your run went and kind of talk us through how much the track and the conditions changed from Q1 to Q3. Because in Q1, you guys were the class of the field, and by Q3, it looked like a real struggle.
Yeah, I think the wind changed a lot. It always sounds so pathetic blaming things on the wind, but the wind basically did a 180 from Q2 to Q3, and yeah, just meant a lot of the corners felt completely different. And my first lap in Q3 felt pretty terrible because I wasn't used to it, and then I thought the second lap was a lot better, but it was even slower. So yeah, just difficult to judge in those conditions, and you know, maybe not the best execution, but I was a bit surprised that we couldn't go quicker than that. So you know, second is a decent spot to start. So yeah, we'll see what we can do tomorrow.
Your car changing, your grip changing is one thing, but were you expecting another team in Ferrari and Charles to be able to find that amount of pace and actually get pole position?
Yeah, I mean, Charles has been quick all weekend, and even this morning he was closer than we expected. And yeah, I mean, things just changed a little bit, and I guess he did a very good job. So yeah, well done to him. I wasn't expecting to be second to a Ferrari this weekend, but yeah, he's done a good job. So it's going to be a fun race tomorrow with yeah, a bit more involved.
Yeah, can't wait to see the first corner action. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Lando Norris going to be lining up third place for the Grand Prix tomorrow. Lando, I hate to say it, maybe a little bit of a disappointment to not have a McLaren 1-2 lockout?
I mean, yeah, from how our form is, and of course, but I think, yeah, Charles did a good job on the last lap. Probably risked a little bit more in these conditions. The wind changed a lot, and really seemed to punish us in a bigger way, it seems. So, I mean, not too many complaints. We thought we both did some good laps at the end, and we were just slow, so nothing to complain of, but Charles did a good job.
How tough was it to make these tires last? I mean, throughout practice, it looked like it was a one-lap tire, but sometimes in qualifying, it looked like it wasn't even a one-lap tire. It was hard to make it get all 14 corners.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a long lap with many corners, so it's tricky, but I mean, like Q2, I think we showed how quick we can go and our advantage, but as soon as the wind changed, everything went away, and the last sector became even trickier again. So yeah, still not an easy lap to put things together. When you do it, it feels nice. When you don't, like in Q3, I'm not so happy.
Obviously, going into tomorrow, kind of two objectives. You want to win the race, but you also want to try to close the gap to Oscar in the Drivers' Championship. What's the bigger focus for you going into Turn 1 tomorrow?
I got both. I want to go forward, so I want to win. And if I can do that, then I'll get points, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be an exciting race. I would expect us to have a bit more pace than Charles. So, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, well, best of luck tomorrow. Lando Norris lining up third place.
Wow. Well, contrary to popular opinion, it is Charles Leclerc who will start on pole for tomorrow's race. His first pole of 2025, the 27th of his career, just 200ths of a second ahead of Oscar Piastri. And it seemed to come as a surprise to him as much as it was to anyone else. But shapes it up nicely for a great race, doesn't he? Okay, so we are on air tomorrow at 12:30, live from Budapest, with a race start of 2 o'clock, and there is plenty to take in the run-up to Lights Out.
16 points.
Okay, so that was qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix. If you guys did enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe, because I definitely did enjoy that one. More than anything here But not Oscar Piastri. It is Charles Leclerc who takes pole for the Hungarian Grand Prix tomorrow. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. But with a few more streams to come before tomorrow actually hits. So we've got the Formula 2 sprint coming up in about an hour and a half. We've also got Italian F4 race 1 and race 2 from 3 o'clock and 5:30. Then FRECA qualifying 2 from 6:30. With the rate from coming on air from 3:25 for a race start of 3:35. And then FRECA race number 2, Tuesday from 2:40. With Italian F4, their final race from 5:20 on Tuesday, followed by the short stream I'm going to be doing from 3:30 on Thursday. But I'll catch you guys in about an hour and a half time because we've got Formula 2 next, their sprint. And of course I'm going to have to add in there the feature race on Monday on probably Tuesday as well. So we've still got plenty more action still to come. Make sure you guys stick around here on Travis Motorsports. And I'll catch you guys a little bit later for the Formula 2 sprint in about an hour's time. Catch you guys then. Bye-bye.